All right, that about wraps it up. We just finished our matchup between the Grey Knights and the Chaos Knights, specifically Armature Spam, with the final score Chaos Knights 94 to a Grey Knight 88. 6 point win for the bad guys. You can't even say not bad guys. You're Chaos. You're all nurgled out. You are the bad guys. You are the evil villain.
We have gifts to give. We have presents for you, and we gave them to you.
Yes. Since we're trying to keep this a family-friendly channel, I'm going to step away from that one. Anyways, of the gifts you're giving. But needless to say, 6 point win, and it went kind of the other way in some aspects where, like I said, I have the MSU and trying to just run up the scoreboard and you can table me, left you with one night.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was a different outcome than kind of going into it and thinking about being able to hit them. And like I said, with the purge going into this, they put some heat down, just straight on things.
Yeah, I feel pretty happy with my win because I think the dice were in your favor a little bit. You had some wild dice rolls.
There was
a lot of times with the purgation shooting, like the number of times you rolled 5-ups was bonkers because they were wounding on 5s the whole time. You got a lot of wounds, even when you weren't re-rolling. I mean, you weren't really re-rolling wounds in the purgation squads.
No, it was all the purifiers, which that strat, I put miles on that thing. I should have kept track on how many times I would do it. I know it was over 5.
Yeah,
because there was
doing it twice on
yeah.
Plus for the shooting, which is still good because your flamers at strength 6, ignoring cover, AP1,
and then in the fight phase, and then in your fight phase, all the time. All the time.
Yeah. No, so again, I feel pretty good about the way my save rolls were real bad. I was rolling lots of 1s and 2s and 3s for you. But no, that's the thing with the Chaos Knights is that ability to control objectives. I didn't even realize I could terraform multiple objectives at once. So I probably could have tried to terraform another one sooner.
I told him that in the middle of it. I was like, you can terraform 2 in that.
Yeah, it says 1 or more units in your army can terraform, so I could have gotten on all 3 objectives, tried to terraform. You might have knocked me off with 1, so I probably would have had another terraform earlier. But no,
which was definitely huge for you because then late into the game, you were still scoring primary. Had you not had that going into some other missions, that's when the score goes in my other favor. But in this one with terraform, your focus on the mission definitely was, and I would say, like you said, you're very happy with this win. This is definitely a win to be very happy with because this is one that you really focused heavily on the mission and what to do for the mission, and that gave you the win. Those terraforms, that was 4 extra points per turn, starting from turns 2. Turn 2 was 2 points, and then turn 3 was, actually, got to penalize you 2 points. I don't think you're allowed to terraform on the first game turn. Are you allowed to? Or is that the other one? Is that there's another run. Each unit from army with range objective. Started. End of opponent's next turn, and the battle whichever comes first. One of your units from army each within range. Nope, not this one. Second battle round onward.
This one you score them. You can. There's no limit to when you do the action. You start scoring them second battle round onwards. So.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because that's how you score it. So, yeah, you can't score it in the first turn.
Yeah.
There's a mission. Oh, it's burning. Scorched earth,
you can't burn.
Yeah, you can't burn on turn 1. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, I knew there was one mission that you couldn't do.
So always read your mission, guys, because if I read the mission, I probably would score an extra 2 points in the game. I got 49 on primary, so it would get me 50 points on primary.
Yeah, imagine that one more extra point.
So always read your mission.
But in other situations, that could have mattered where if you didn't get that, if that was like the terraformed center objective and you were trying to terraform the center objective on turn 3 and I was able to destroy that armature, then now it goes the other way where instead of you having turns, let's see, you did it on turn 3, so 4 and 5, so 4 points there. Now instead of you gaining those 4 extra points, you're losing them. So big deal there where if you would have, like you said, you terraformed that objective on turn 2.
All 3 objectives.
On turn 1, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you would have terraformed those on turn 1 to score into turn 2.
I could have started terraforming all 3 of them. You probably would have been able to knock me off of one. Maybe, the Land Raider.
I would have been able to knock you off the one that was closer to my side. There's no way I was getting to you down the middle at all. No way.
Yeah, and obviously that's kind of important in these because I was watching primary very closely because with Terraform, I can start scoring primary big and early and then have that, and then I don't need to focus on that so much as scoring my secondary thing.
We tied on secondary, 35 each.
Yeah.
Game all came down to that primary. The primary was where the entire game came down to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, as I said in my video for my army list, I was concerned with my damage output in the DJ's army because everything has a 2-up armor save, and the damage profiles.
That's not true. My exaction are a 4-up.
Well, it might as well. They might as well put a 3-up because they were taking 3-ups because of cover the
And
whole time from all my
and their little dog too.
And the little dog too. I had to kill him twice. I made me kill the dog twice. You brought him back.
I mean, you just could have not.
But as I was saying, my concern was the damage output from the Chaos Knights was going to be difficult into this army because the 2-up saves and their profiles are weird. They have a lot of 1 damage shots. The sweet profiles on the carnivores are the 1 damage, do have a lot of attacks. But when you go with the strike profiles, they're not that strong. You get 6 attacks, hit on 2, so you get 5 hits and you get 4 wounds. And then it's AP3, but he makes a couple saves, and suddenly the carnivore just kills 2 Marines in a fight phase. And then the slab bag that he was doing was always a lot more damage than that. And then, of course, the shooting with the Brigands, a Melta shot between the 2 hit rolls and 2 wound rolls from the Melta. I'm going to roll a 1 in there somewhere. So the Melta kills 1 guy, and then the Gatling kills 1.5 guys. So I just didn't have the efficiency of damage that would go into this army very well. If it was 3-up armor, it'd be a different story because just they've been having a lot more damage go through. But I knew it was going to be tricky with the damage output, and that's why during the game I was paying very close attention to primaries and secondaries. And then when I could recover assets in 3 zones, I just went for that rather than trying to kill things and trying to block out those units so you couldn't pick them all up. You picked up one of them, but it still allowed me to score some points there. So,
Crucial,
he did a
crucial
lot
points
of
as well.
damage. Definitely using that reroll wound strat very efficiently.
Huge, massive, making the like. I was like, okay, as long as the purifiers take down 2 armatures each squad, it should be okay. Dude, I don't even know. Like, I want to go back. I'm going to go back through when I edit this thing and looking at. I mean, I think the purge did shoot down some armatures, but man, how many armatures the purifiers killed? Especially that one squad, the one that started the game here, got in the Land Raider, got out of the Land Raider when it got blown up, fought in the center, moved to center, moved to your deployment zone, and at the end of the game, they literally traveled from corner to corner, coast to coast with those guys. So I love when you see that. Love when you see that. My favorite was still one time with Castle and Robots that I literally went over into one corner, over into the center, into this corner, then back into my opponent's deployment zone, just running those guys, charging, advancing. That's fun. Now, one crucial mistake that I made that I'm seeing, and I think I'm doing more and more frequently, and I need to watch and kind of evaluate more, is not always going for the sabotage early in my opponent's deployment zone. That was huge. That hurt a lot. If I went for the sabotage closer to my home field objective, just outside my deployment zone, I would have scored 3 points on it. It's 3 points for that one, or is it 2?
It's just 2 if it's in no man's land.
If it's 2, it's 2 in no man's land. 2 in no man's land, but the critical part is...
No, it might be 3, and then it's 6 in my deployment zone.
Well, nice thing is, still got these here. So, double check. See, we don't memorize these things. Actually, the funniest thing that you got, it's 3. It's 3. So the funniest thing is, since however long this edition's been going on, I still have to ask Lane the rules for Bring It Down. I never get it right. I literally have to go through like, so this shoots this, and it's to a point that he just accepts it.
Big guns never tire.
Oh, big guns never tire. That's
He's
it.
like, I can shoot these infantry, right? Like, no, they're in engagement range with the vehicle. You cannot shoot them from another unit. It's like, but I want to. Yeah, but no, I definitely think like when you're playing this game and you pull recover assets or sabotage to the secondaries that complete the end of your opponent's turn, you really have to make sure you can score those or not. Because if you fail to score them, if your opponent kills one of the units that's trying to do it and shuts it down, not only do you not score it, but then you're stuck with that card again.
Yep.
And then if you want to get rid of it, you got to spend the CP to get rid of it. So a lot of times it might make more sense just to burn it and get a CP at the end of your turn, rather than, or cycle it out, spend the CP to get ready at the start of your turn, unless you're absolutely sure you can do it. Late game, maybe when your opponent doesn't have any way of shutting it off, but the fact that I had a couple units that could put eyes on those guys, pick up that squad, made a big difference.
And I'm not going to go into the debate of like, oh, well, this means this would have happened. This means this would have happened. Just an example, I was doing this as well. not only did it mean I didn't score sabotage and I was stuck with it, but that means there's 2 other cards I didn't see. So had I just went over there right by that nice little pillar and scored 3 points, now that 6-point is a 3-point lead. And then the 2 cards that were
secondary.
right, and then we're looking at no prisoners, or if I spend a command point at any time during the cycle, overwhelming force. 2 of which that you can score 5 points on relatively easy, difficult in this turn. But at that point, I need 3 points to get the tie, 4 points for the win, and especially overwhelming force, just being able to eliminate a unit on objective marker. It's what I was doing in the last turn. So that could be the difference right there, which honestly, that's what you love to see with these games, where it gets down to that precise moments. This was not necessarily like, yes, Lane, I know that was an insane shooting moment with the purge, but to my credit, there was also a lot of things there to back up that. You need to give me credit. I give you credit where credit is due. Okay. There was enough things there that carnivore was going to.
I'll credit your dice.
There was enough there that the carnivore was going down to. And in a lot of areas too, I did have extra going into things to make sure that I was removing targets as I needed to.
I'll give myself credit for teaching you about target redundancy.
Okay. Okay.
You learned well from me. Good work.
Okay, sure. So now this is the point where I turn like this and start talking this way for it. But again, I did have a lot of units going into things to make sure I could eliminate them because I really wasn't sure where my damage output was going to turn out with the Knights. And it was intimidating seeing all of them come across the table. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing was sometimes games come down to the fact of who makes the least amount of mistakes. And regardless of any other mistakes that we made across the game, that sabotage was a crucial mistake that I made that Lane capitalized on. By taking that unit out, denying me the 6 points, that was super crucial. It not only did it stop me for 6 points, but like Lane said, it also locked me on that card for another turn with nothing I could do except then do exactly what I'm saying now and just score it closer to home with a single model, which obviously, if you couldn't take down the single model, you wouldn't have taken down 5 dudes sitting on that point. Very simple, very easy. Should have went for it early on in the game. You got to make sure you stick those. Can't be stuck on cards, especially in matchups with meta armies like this one. Cannot be stuck on cards like that. So all in all, what do you think? You think there's only 2 ways this go? Put it on the shelf or keep practicing it? There might be something there.
Yeah, it's obviously very strong, and the damage output in this matchup was more than we thought it would be. But I didn't really have any defensive strats because my only defensive strat is to give them a 4-up invuln shooting. And other than a 100 killer missile, there was nothing that would put me on worse than a 4-up save. So, but no, I think you played it very well. Yeah, just focus.
I think Grey Knights is one of my strongest factions, just all around.
It's one of those things that can come back very strong late game because you can have a 1-man or 2-man squad and still just up, eat down, you steal objectives, score secondaries and stuff. So this kind of fixes the initial problem they have, which is the damage output.
And the purifiers go the other way of the spectrum. As they get weaker, they get stronger.
Yeah, the less
Hulk
there
smash.
are, the more hitting on 2s once they lose a single guy and once they're below half strength, +1 to wound is just bonkers. So.
Hit 1 squad green, Hulk smash to get angry. Yeah. You won't like them when they're angry. So cool. No, I definitely that's interesting. I mean, one of the things that surprised me the most about this, I know a lot of things in your collection. I did not know you already had 13 Plague Marine Chaos Armigers already all situated, ready to go. So that surprised me.
Yeah, it took me a little while. I had to paint one up this week because I had gotten 12 put together, and then they lowered the points a little bit, so you squeezed the 13th one in. So I had to do one more. And if you notice, there was one guy running around without a claw because I'm short 1 claw. But no, I started them because I was using the Ally and Death Guard, and it was kind of fun to have another army. So. I don't know if I'll play them a whole bunch. I don't have any of the big knights, so if the big knights get good when they get a codex, I don't know if I'll get them, but it's fun. Sometimes fun to just shut off your brain and run 3 data sheets.
Yeah, no, definitely. So speaking of get a new army and play a new army, next week we will be featuring the Tyranids. Probably the same list I ran before. Don't know. I might tweak it. There's actually there's some other detachments I've been looking into, but some of them are kind of fluffy, where it's not necessarily, I like this invasion fleet, so I'd like to see it do more, and that's why I might play it again. But we will be debuting that Custodes detachment. What's it? The solar flare.
No, Solar is the vehicle one. The new one's the Lions. I don't think it's called Unleash the Lions.
No, but that is the stratagem that is going to be
Unleash
most.
the Lions is the stratagem where you break up a squad of Terminators and do a whole bunch
Out
of
of
guys.
all the things, I have the utmost disdain for Custodes, and the reason
Lions of the Emperor.
Lions of the Emperor. I just have absolute disdain for Custodes. I don't like them at all, and my reasoning is not justifiable. I cannot give you an accurate reason why. I'm just being a hater, and I will always be a hater to Custodes. Silver is better than gold.
But
However,
those are the bestest boys.
this is the coolest strat. This is one of my favorite strats in the entire game. Just the fact that you put this 6-man squad and just go. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, you just shotgun your opponent with a blast of Terminators spread out all over the table.
Right. That was kind of one of the things that, like, out of everything with Custodes that I dislike the bikes. I dislike this. I dislike that. I can go on for days and just tell you what I dislike and have no good reason for it. That was one thing that I always thought was cool. And when the Codex hit, I was like, oh, wow, you can't unleash the Lions anymore. Here it is.
It's back.
Here it is. So this will be cool. It'll be definitely cool to see. Probably Tyranids will probably get smacked. That's why I'm kind of, in one way, I'm kind of thinking I run the invasion fleet that I did before so that I have something that can actually compete back with you because I feel comfortable with some of the damage output coming out of there. At the same time, I almost think that I need to dig into the Tyranid Codex and almost build against you. And even that's not going to be enough to stop the Allura's Custodes. I think it's just going to be like, all right, so I'm saying I'm not going to, I can score 60 points this game. I don't know if the Tyranids have it in them to push back.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be mostly infantry, so if you do invasion, you take the sustained into infantry.
This is good.
There'll be a few jet bikes, but other than that, I don't think I'll have any tanks.
Yeah, but the thing is, those things need to live long enough to actually do it. Do you have any fight first?
No.
Okay, so there's a positive.
There's a sisters character that you can put on a sister squad to give them fight first, which is actually kind of juicy because they're not that great, except in this detachment, if they're by themselves, they'll get +1 to hit, +1 to wound, so they get a little juicy. But
that'll all be for next week. Right now, we just finished this up. Even though it's a loss for the Grey Knights, I still want to look into this a little more. I don't think I'm going to switch up the Land Raider. I don't think I can shimmy the points for it. Honestly, Land Raider was fine. Yeah, it got blown up, but it covered that hole, it covered the pocket, it moved models, it moved units, which honestly was very, very important. It moved those purifiers in a position where the purifiers were able to do all the work. So I still think the Land Raider did well, did some good damage, but you know, that's not always going to be a troll. This one was that transport, that 220-point transport. Mm-hmm. So, all right, well, let's wrap things up and call it a night. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.